I remember that when I was in graduation, 2020 word was a fancy term, and it was more or less glamorized by our then President APJ Abdul Kalam. He had coined the term Mission 2020. Everybody raced towards it, and everybody wanted, like, India should be this by 2020 or by that. But similar thing now we have for 2030, right? And 2047, obviously, because India will turn 100 years old. So today in this video, we are talking about Mission 2030, environmental problems of 2030, which we will solve, or we can get started solving right here today in 2024. Now, this video will serve as an inspiration, as a example, as well as a plethora of ideas for future researchers just like you. So if you are still in your graduation, post-graduation, PhD, post-PhD, postdoc, wherever you are, this video is going to be helpful because you can make a lot of money because of the problems of 2030 if you get started today. Okay. Now, we have to first predict what's going to happen. Then only you can make money. And if you want to make money in biotech, sadly, you have to predict all the doomsday, right? Like COVID pandemic, a doomsday, right? So similar doomsday, we have to predict of 2030 that what are the possible problems which we as a human race can face in 2030, and how can we get started today so that we can solve it there. Now, one of the easiest things which we can easily say today is the antimicrobial resistance, AMR. So that we are seeing the antibiotic resistance, which is there, which will obviously be at its peak by 2030, right, as per the experts. So obviously, if you become an AMR expert or you're into drug discovery using AI/ML, definitely that's one field you can make a lot of money. But I'm going to tell you 10 other fields also apart from AMR where you can make a lot of money, help the human race, solve the environmental problems, save the planet, and create sustainable solutions for the future. I believe that earning money anybody can do, but creating a legacy around you so that people look up to you, that's something really inspiring. And today's video is going to serve that purpose because I'm going to enumerate not just the problems of 2030, but I'm going to tell you how you can use your knowledge of 2024 and your research, which you will do in the next 6 years, to solve that problem. And imagine if there is one big problem in this world, existential crisis, which you could solve or your technology could solve, then the whole world will come to buy that from you. And that is how you can make a lot of money, right? So you can see Pfizer, Moderna, Bharat Biotech, Serum Institute of India, AstraZeneca made a lot of money during the pandemic, right? So basically, they were ready. Chance always favors the prepared mind, right? So that's what happens. So the first problem which comes into my mind by 2030, a small glimpse of it we are seeing right now in Bangalore. While I'm shooting, it's summer in Bangalore, and we are seeing climate change. So there's no rain. By this time, generally rain comes, but there's no rain here. The climate is changing. The weather is shifting. For example, just 2 weeks back, it was winters in North India. People were really shivering, but now it's all summer there suddenly, right? So climate change is going to be a big challenge in 2030. Now, to mitigate this challenge will be your expertise. How can you do that? Creating sustainable solutions, biofuels, bioplastics, carbon capture techniques, which you can create or you can enhance or you can produce at scale. Whichever you do, either you create or enhance or produce at scale, you can definitely contribute towards reduction of carbon emissions, and that's where you can contribute towards controlling the climate change. The next thing which humans will face, and Bill Gates is solving that problem currently, is food security. You see, he's a smart guy, way ahead, 50 years ahead of all of us, and he has the biggest land ownership in US, right? And he has the biggest seed reservoir or repository in Iceland. So he knows when the doomsday come, I'll have the maximum seeds and the biggest piece of land. So basically what he has seen is food malnutrition and food insecurity. So with the global population expected to go beyond 8.5 to 10 billion, crops getting impacted by climate change, pests and all. So you can do research in that direction. You can work on CRISPR technology. You can create pest-resistant varieties, weather-resistant varieties of crops. So that will also incentivize the farmers because obviously they will be able to get that benefit. But at the same time, you will be contributing towards food security of the planet. I think That's a great achievement, because if because of you somebody's plate is full today, that's a great satisfaction, right? So the first thing which I told you is climate change. The second thing which I told you is food security. The third would be water scarcity and water security. So right now, again, we are facing this in Bangalore. Just today, the municipal corporation said that 100,000 liters shortage per day is there in Bangalore. So now how they're doing it, they're rationing the what earlier the water used to come every day, but now it comes every 3 days or 5 days, and people are storing it and then they're using it wisely. So basically, why that is happening? That is happening because of the climate change again. At the same time, biotechnology can help us tackle this water scarcity by developing drought-resistant crops, improving water purification systems, and creating innovative water conservation systems. So these are the three things which we can do as a biotechnologist. If we are able to also convert salty water into fresh water, marine water, sea water into fresh water, we can reverse engineer that, and imagine we can create a big pool of fresh water for all of us, because we will have. So again, by 2030 there will be water scarcity. What if you could convert desalinized seawater and bring it to the land? That will be a game changer. So even that is one thing where you can contribute. Followed by that, we will also see energy production problems. So okay, currently we see the nuclear power, but it is not a clean power. Coal power, 80% of India is powered by coal power, right? That's not clean energy. We can have sustainable biofuels, bioenergy plants, which can reduce our reliance on these fossil fuels, in further, again, decrease the greenhouse effect. So yeah, everything, somehow points to the climate change effect. But yeah, that's where the energy production side also you can do research. I know somebody called Dr. Anjan Ray from Indian Institute of Petroleum Research, and he told me that by next month they are going to have a biofuel plant in Karnataka, in Dharwad, where they are going to be able to produce biofuel at a mass scale, and they will be able to sell it. So imagine, that's huge, right? So you can even contribute. Now, another problem of 2030 which you can solve by biotechnology will be waste management. And this is one of my favorite topics, because I have done my schooling in Delhi, and it used to pain me passing across that Ghaziabad, that big pile of waste and landfill. We call it as landfill here in India. So these landfills will grow in size every day, every year, and the size of the landfill is such that when you stand on the road at the entrance and see that landfill, you will see the trucks moving. There are highways on that landfill, and you'll see the trucks this small. So you can imagine how big that landfill is. It's like 100-story height, right? So that's where waste management is going to be a problem. So basically, I have seen this in almost every megacity. So for every megacity can be easily divided into two parts. One is rich class, one is poor class. So the poor class lives in a different part of the area, and the rich class lives in a different part of the area, and every day they commute. But now there'll be a third part of every megacity, which will be a landfill. Of course, we can say that let's be mindful about every shampoo bottle we throw away, or every plastic we throw away. But we need solutions which solve the current crisis instead of changing the behavior. Yeah, of course, we can change the behavior so that future problems won't happen. But the current landfill, how do we solve that, right? So to solve that, we need waste management research. So biotechnology and you all can contribute towards waste effectively by developing new methods for breakdown and recycling of waste materials such as plastics and organic waste, as well as inorganic waste and industrial waste, because the industrial waste goes into water, so that creates water pollution, right? The next thing which we are seeing already in 2030, it will be even more problematic, and that is air pollution. Now, as humans, unless something like a pandemic hits us, we don't go for a permanent solution. We go for temporary solutions. So when air pollution hits us in some months of the year, we happily just switch on our air purifiers and we think that, okay, things will be fine. But you should know this, that the lung capacity of somebody living in Delhi is 60% lesser than somebody living in Coorg in Karnataka. Why is that? It's because of pollution. New Delhi is the third most, or rather I would say worst polluted city in the world. Imagine, the capital city where the best of our minds sit, where the best of our politicians sit, they all are inhaling pollution. And it's not just going to be about Delhi, it's going to be about our entire country and the entire world. So as biotechnologists, you can solve this problem. Now, how can you solve this problem? Let's find that out. As a biotechnologist, you can help combat air pollution by developing new methods for capturing and converting harmful pollutants such as carbon dioxide and nitrogen oxides into useful products or harmless substances. Another way of doing it is, if you're a botanist, you can do research on how can we grow trees fastest, which particular tree will go fastest in what climate. And if you can do the profiling and you can suggest to the municipalities, if they have more tree cover, obviously the pollution cover will go down. So yeah, air pollution can be combated. One of the ways is, of course, creating those gas and absorption chambers, or of course, the natural way, right? Both ways you can contribute. The next problem which we will face as human race is soil degradation. So, okay, you can have all the innovations in the world in agriculture, but if the soil is not fertile, what to do? Now, today, farmers are doing reckless irrigation with chemicals. And when you ask them, they will say, I don't have a solution, boss. There's no solution. Now, slowly that fertilizer leaches and gets into the groundwater also, which further we take it, right? So we are a part of the food chain, so we also observe that. The problem is soil also degrades over a period of time. So you can create solutions to restore and improve the degradation of soil by developing microorganisms that can enhance the soil fertility, reduce erosion, and promote sustainable agriculture. Whatever problems I told you till now, I think 7 or 8 problems I have told you, including AMR, you have to get started today in 2024, then only you can be rich in 2030, because if you have a solution to any of these problems, then the whole world is going to buy from you. Before I go for the 8th, 9th and 10th, some of you might be feeling by now that mere se nahi hoga, I don't think I can do it, right? So I also used to think that way, that I won't be able to do it. But then I realized that I can do it. You can do it. And how can you do that? Because every individual is unique. Every individual's perspective is unique. Your way of solving a problem is different than mine, right? My way of solving the problem is talking about it, and your way of solving the problem would be jumping into it, right? So you can always do that. Coming to the 8th one is deforestation. So biotechnology can help reduce deforestation by creating genetically modified trees that grow faster, more resistant to pests and diseases, and can be used for sustainable forestry and reforestation efforts. So I think I told you this part already in the previous point, but yeah, deforestation you can control. The next will be biodiversity loss. So as a biotechnologist, you can contribute to the conservation of biodiversity by developing methods to monitor and protect endangered species, restore habitats, and manage invasive species. So I'll give you an example, very simple example. Today, the bees are in danger. Right? So bees are responsible for pollination. If the pollination doesn't happen, our vegetables won't become vegetables from a flower, right? We are destroying the natural habitat of bees. Now, if these bees are gone, the trees won't get pollinated, so the fruits won't come in, right? So that is where you as a biotechnologist can come in and contribute towards the conservation of biodiversity by developing methods to monitor, protect, and restore these habitats. The last one which I have for you, the 10th one, is human health. Now, like I said at the beginning, AMR, as such, human body faces tons of challenges. You ask anybody who is at the age of 50 or 60, they will tell you how many health issues they faced till date, and they can actually have an entire list with you, right? So, human health problems globally can be addressed through biotechnology, and that too at scale. For example, diabetes, for example, HIV, for example, rare diseases, for example, anything which reduces the efficiency of the body, let's say aging or stress. What if we could solve that problem, right? So biotechnologists can solve this and address the global health issues, challenges, and the rise of antibiotic resistance, like I told you. And you can also help in development of new vaccines, synthetic biology solutions, personalized medicine, and whatnot. So basically, as a biotechnologist, you are well positioned to grab the biggest opportunity environment will present to you in 2030. But the truth is, we all are too busy saying that biotech has no scope. The truth is, you and I will have to make that scope. We will have to understand the challenges, create solutions to those problems today, get funded by BIRAC, get funded by venture capitalists, get funded by the government, create that company, create employment for others also, And at the same time, you can become a millionaire or a billionaire, right? So it's not that Kiran Majumdar Shaw became a Kiran Majumdar Shaw overnight. It's not that I became whatever overnight, right? We all had our fair share of struggle, right? But you should know that today you have a better support system than what we had. There was no one. We had no internet to reach out to, right? We didn't knew whom to contact, right? But for you, you can always approach me. You can always approach any of your college professors, or there are so many mentors out there on LinkedIn you can always reach, and then build these solutions, and then you can win the world the biotechnology way. So I believe, and I was able to translate the energy which I have for biotechnology to all of you. If you have any questions, comments, or anything you would like to share or ask, you can always comment below or write to me at shekhar@biotechnica.org. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you soon in the next one. Till then, keep shining. Bye-bye.